One Punch Man Season 3, the show that was confirmed a year back but still remains a mystery. No information about the studio or the staff has been provided so far. Now you might be a part of the I don't really care about the staff and the studio crowd, but those are crucial elements. Just look at the difference in quality between Madhouse's Season 1 and JC Staff's Season 2. In this video we'll talk about the various possible outcomes that can befall the third season of One Punch Man. I usually don't make these speculative videos, but I think this will make for an interesting discussion. Also, it's not exactly a speculation, it's more like a what if. Make sure to subscribe. Now before we talk about the third season, let's briefly go over the first two. Season 1 was directed by Shingo Natsume, a huge name in the industry. The season also featured a who's who of quote-unquote Sakuga animators. One Punch Man Season 1 was one of the most outrageously good-looking shows. It featured some of the best action animation point blank period. It was a spectacle. Shows which look this good are rarely seen even in the current state of the industry, where a lot of shows feature quote movie quality animation. Season 2 didn't have that all-star lineup. It didn't have Shingo Natsume's direction either. Besides key animator Kenichiro Aoki and his Hall of Fame tier carry job, the show lacked animation strength, which is why it looked weaker in comparison. I have talked about this season in detail before, but to sum it up, this was not a bad looking show by any means. In fact, it featured a lot of impressive cuts. It's just that the standard set by the first season was ridiculously high. As a result, Season 2 pales in comparison. So with that, One Punch Man Season 3 can go down one of these three paths. Either it will be animated by the Season 1 staff, or it will be animated by the Season 2 staff, or a completely new team will take over. So setting that third option aside, the possible studios can be narrowed down to two, right? Madhouse and JC staff? Not really. Well, let's talk about the second outcome first. There is a good chance that the third season of this show will go to JC staff. That would explain the relative decrease in the amount of work done by Kenichiro Aoki for shows like Eden Zero Season 2 and the second core of Danmachi Season 4. Both of these are titles Aoki has been heavily involved with in the past. However, if that is the case, I don't understand why they wouldn't announce the staff and the studio. Anyway, if this season does go to JC staff, what can we expect? Well, the show has been announced for a year at this point, so the overall schedule is probably better than the second season, which means the main animators will be able to polish their works, and the show would have to rely less on outsourcing. Although the outsourced episode 8 was quite interesting visually. The compositing, especially the metal textures, looked quite bad. I don't know if that was a stylistic choice or a way of making up for any potential inconsistencies in the metal designs, but if it's the latter, a better schedule can fix the compositing issues. Many of the departments such as the sound effects were obviously rushed, so hopefully those things will be fixed as well. Also, we can expect the average quality of a Kenichiro Aoki cut to increase, which is a massive win. Another important aspect is the CGI. Apparently this season will contain some really detail heavy designs, so the team will most likely rely on CGI. And that's a good thing. Season 2 featured an incredible use of 3D models. The CGI was produced by Studio JC staff's in-house 3D department and Studio Moe. And if they can bring this team back, their output is almost guaranteed to look amazing. Long story short, One Punch Man Season 3 being a JC staff production isn't really a problem, especially if the team has more time. Of course, like most people, I would prefer the Season 1 staff, but that's probably not going to happen. Even if the show goes back to Studio Madhouse, that doesn't guarantee anything. You see, One Punch Man Season 1 wasn't exactly produced by the Madhouse staff. It was more of a chainsawman situation, aka it was an industry-wide gathering of some of the best animators out there, all working on a single show. These major names came together thanks to the animation producers and series director Shingo Natsume's personal contacts. But even if Natsume returns, which I hope he does, that doesn't mean the entire staff will come back. One Punch Man Season 1 was an amalgamation of the most high-profile freelance animators in the entire industry. And these freelancers are often busy with other shows. One of the major action animators from this show, Yoshimichi Kameda, who animated a huge chunk of this dream fight amongst other things, is currently working as the character designer for an unnamed Studio Wit show. Another major action animator, Arifumi Mai, who animated most of the Saitama Genos fight and parts of the Saitama Boros fight, is most likely busy at work under Studio Mappa. He directed the 4th episode of Jujutsukaisen Season 2 2, and he'll most likely do more for the show. He's also rumored to be working on the final Attack on Titan episode. Other action animators such as Ryu Nakayama, Tatsuya Yoshihara, Shun Enokido, and Takahito Sakazume are busy with their own projects. Nakayama and Yoshihara directed Chainsaw Man, and Enokido and Sakazume directed the Fate Strange Fake special. Also, they will be directing the upcoming Strange Fake anime. Meanwhile, Keiichiro Watanabe is busy working on Keisuke Seishimo projects like Jujutsukaisen and Chainsaw Man, and Yutaka Nakamura is probably busy with the upcoming My Hero Academia season and the 4th My Hero Academia movie. All while Satoshi Iwataki and Takayuki Sano are hard at work on Hell's Paradise and Attack on Titan respectively. You get the idea. A lot of the staff from One Punch Man season 1 are busy on other shows, meaning they probably won't be able to work on the 3rd season. It's pretty much impossible to assemble the entire season 1 staff, but still they might be able to gather some of these names. If they do, there are 3 possible studios that can take over this show: Madhouse, Bones, and Mappa. Madhouse because that's where season 1 was produced. Also, director Shingo Natsume has produced multiple projects for the studio. While the amount of high-profile shows produced by the studio has decreased, they still have access to major names. Sunny Boy, for example, featured a lot of strong talent. It was also a Natsume project. The show might be produced as a Studio Bones project for quite a few reasons. Firstly, Natsume has worked with Bones before, having directed Space Dandy. Secondly, staff from Studio Bones did work on One Punch Man. And thirdly, Mob Psycho exists. There's a large amount of staff overlap between Mob Psycho and the 1st season of One Punch Man. In fact, here's a list of key animators who worked on both One Punch Man season 1 and Mob Psycho season 1. Basically, it's not unlikely that the production might take place under the Studio Bones banner. The third choice is Studio Mappa, and multiple reputed leaks have suggested or outright claimed that the 3rd season will indeed be produced by the studio. And it is possible when you really think about it. As you might have noticed, a fair few animators who worked on One Punch Man are currently busy with Mappa shows. Also, the studio has a ridiculous reach, and some of the most creative and high-profile directors have worked with the studio. So who knows if Mappa CEO Manabu Otsuka will successfully lock Natsume in his basement. Although that is not a good thing. If the show is produced under Studio Mappa, it would require a team with a lot of action animators. And the only real option there would be the Jujutsukaisen / Chainsaw Man team. But here's the thing, that team is already working under horrible deadlines, having to produce Jujutsukaisen, Jujutsukaisen 0, Chainsaw Man, and Jujutsukaisen Season 2 with practically no buffer time in between. There's no way they can fit another major show in this already delicate rotation. Who knows if they'll be able to produce the 2nd season of JJK without any major hiccups. I might make a video about the Shibuya arc trailer that drops next week, by the way. Point is, as of right now, it seems unlikely that the original staff will return for a new season of One Punch Man. Of course, I might be wrong. There's that third option where a completely different team takes over, but it's impossible to predict anything related to that. Anyway, I am quite excited. New stuff or old, I just hope the team understands how important action animation is for this show. That's about it. Did you like this video? Check out this other bit of content if you did. Make sure to like and subscribe, and until next time.